Hi there, and welcome to ECOS Training Logframe and Results Framework Introduction. In this video, we'll cover key concepts about the Logframe and the Results Framework and how it relates to each other inside of ECOS. As a quick review, a results framework is a structured strategy used by operating units to measure how it's achieving its goals. In IRP, it refers to the goals, objectives, outcomes, outputs, and indicators we are tracking at a global level. It also includes indicators from outside of IRP, such as the federation-wide reporting that we need to be utilizing for global tracking. A log frame is a tool for improving the planning, implementation, and management of your overall project. It relates to the results framework because the results of your log frame and indicators within this log frame will show us how we are doing on the overall results framework. Inside of ECOS, we'll be pre-populating the results framework inside of your project. This is in order for you to use the results framework to structure your log frames, goals, objectives, and outcomes and outputs along the results framework strategy. However, that can be quite daunting. There are many elements in the results framework. So we provided a mechanism for you to hide the results framework behind your log frame in order for you to develop that in a clean environment. A second step once you create your project log frame will be to let the results framework know how your project log frame relates to it. To do this, we're providing a mapping mechanism from the output indicator level to the output indicator level of the results framework. This is done in order to preserve the integrity of your log frame and the language used inside the log frame, yet we're still showing how the results of our log frames and activities within those log frames contribute to the overall results framework. When you first enter ECOS, your project will be pre-populated with the results framework on a hierarchical level. Then you develop your log frame below that results framework. The next step will be for you to decide what indicator in your project log frame relates to what indicator in the results framework. This is referred to as the mapping process. What that allows us to do is throughout the life cycle of your project, when you begin to enter actuals and targets about those key indicators, because of that mapping process, that number gets automatically populated into the results framework. This is to prevent many people asking you many times for the same information in order to populate a global reporting mechanism. Now I'm going to talk about a double counting problem that exists in many of our projects. To do this, I'm going to illustrate this with an example. Let's say you have an activity 1 that's reaching 150 people. Let's say we're trying to reach 150 people in training and hand washing. Then we have a second activity that's number of people that we train in latrine maintenance. In fact, there's an overlap of people that attended both of those trainings. When I tell the results framework that both of these activities relate to a hygiene indicator, I can't simply tell it to add up both of these indicators, because what's happening is we're adding twice the overlap. Instead, I would have to subtract that overlap to get the true number of people reached. If we are not tracking individual beneficiaries, this is extremely difficult. So instead, we're offering a mechanism called Aggregate Max. That means we take the largest activity of the two and give it the highest number. So that means 150 people will be reported as the number of people reached between those two activities. We are missing some people with this methodology. However, we'd rather underreport our numbers than overreport our numbers for ARC. If you have two indicators or two activities that are completely separate, there are no overlap, then we can add those both together with the usage of an indicator type called aggregate sum. We provided a third type of indicator for handling some of the unknowns during your project with indicators that relate to each other. To illustrate this, I'll use an example again. We have 150 people attending the training. That training will have a test, and we want to see how many people are passing that test. So my indicator 2 is the number of people passing the test. I do not know the target of the number of people who pass the test until I know how many people are attending the training. So by utilizing this type of aggregate indicator called target from actual, I will take the result of my first indicator and populate it as the target of my other indicator. So now I can choose the number of people passing the test, the target being the total number of people attending the training. As a review, there are two indicator types that use to relate to the results framework. One is aggregate max, when you are reaching the same people with one or more activities. Use aggregate sum if the activities that you are mapping to the results framework are unique. There is no overlap between those two or more activities. Indicator types, aggregate max and aggregate sum, are used to relate to the results framework. Other types of indicators, such as calculated target from actual, which I just covered, also percent numeric and qualitative indicators are used for indicators inside of your log frame. Now I'm going to discuss a different type of counting problem when it covers counting beneficiaries over time. In this scenario, I have 4 quarters. I am reaching fast food guy, kayak man, sneezing mother, singing angry teacher, soapy baby, happy baby, puppy grandpa, and tired man. These are all unique individuals, and each quarter I'm reaching a different group of people. So when I'm asked how many people I have reached over the lifetime of my project, I can simply sum all of these people up with using period aggregate sum, which would be 9. In my second scenario, I'm reaching the same population in different quarters in my project. So in this example, I have fast food guy, kayak man. In quarter 2, kayak man is also reached. We have the singer. We have angry teacher again in Q3 with soapy baby, angry teacher again in quarter 4. When asked how many people I have reached over the lifetime of my project, I can't simply add up all of these beneficiaries, because I'd be double counting these people that are reached over the different reporting periods. The unique number of people are 5 in this example. So unless we are counting individual beneficiaries during the life cycle of our project, we again employ a mechanism that we are calling period aggregate max, which means that I'm taking the largest quarter of people that I have reached, and with that mechanism I will get the number. In this example, that means 3. So again, I am losing some beneficiary counts, but we'd rather undercount than overcount our beneficiaries. As a review, period aggregate, or also called horizontal aggregation, is when period aggregate max is when you reach the same people over time. Period aggregate sum is when you reach different people over time, and you can simply add up all the beneficiaries across the quarters. This concept is a separate issue and separate concept in compared to indicator types, which I covered in the first few slides. Why did we decide to do this? Obviously, there was a double counting problem and double reporting numbers. We want to avoid that. This design with mapping allows you to focus on just your project results. That means you're populating your project with the results, and then all other areas of our overall reporting can use those numbers for aggregations without you needing to double report those same results in other areas. This also allows you to preserve the integrity of your log frame. You're able to word your log frame as you see fit toward your specific project, yet you show how you contribute to the overall results framework. Users at headquarters can get the data they want, no matter what they're trying to track, because this is available online and utilizing the mapping process. Automatic calculations are used in order to prevent double counting and also to show global reports instantly. This may be a difficult concept for you, so please review this module. If you still need further assistance, 3 people or 3 project roles you can reach out to are your Q&L delegate in the field, your M&E analyst at headquarters, but also information analyst. And as always, you can always email ecos.support@redcross.org for more information. Thank you very much, and thank you for watching Logframe and Results Framework Introduction video.